Chairman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Illinois, Mr. Casten, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I must say, I hope my friend from Arkansas isn't suggesting that the lesson of the last century, when the U.S. dollar became the world's reserve currency and compared to the rest of the world's currencies has been a remarkable store of value, is that we should return to the gold standard in the fiscal policies of the 19th century. I don't think that's what you meant, but that was weird. I want to just echo what Mr. Vargas just said, and I don't want to dwell too much on this, but do we all agree that the Fed's inflation target is 2%? Yes? Do we all agree that inflation is right now above 2%? Yes? Do we all agree that inflation right now is rising? Yes. Do we all agree that unemployment right now is rising? Yes. So there's really no argument to cut rates as the Fed just did, but for rising unemployment. We're going to have a dual, this just seems like a weird day to be talking about separating that from unemployment. Anyway, we've had another weird thing that happened today, which is that Stephen Moran was confirmed to the Fed. And in a paper he wrote last year, he said that he wanted to ban the, quote, revolving door between the executive branch and the Fed. Now, he's decided that he's not going to leave his role in the executive branch, which I guess means there's no revolving door. He's just taking the door off the hinges and it's a wide open door. Mr. Amaranth, does having somebody who simultaneously works in the White House and at the Fed increase or decrease the independence of the Fed?
I think it's hard to say decrease, so I have to say increase.
That wasn't meant to be a trick question. I'd say that either. If you ran a hedge fund, would you like interest rates to be high or low?
It depends on how the hedge fund is exactly betting on things, but
let's just say you had a long career running a hedge fund that really you made a lot of money thanks to a ZIRP policy of essentially zero interest rate policy from the government, and you could lever up your assets and call it alpha.
I mean, I think if you have lower interest rates, you have more scope for leverage.
Okay. If you had a lot of real estate investments, would you like interest rates to be high or low?
I think typically speaking, people on the real estate side pay more attention, are more interest rate sensitive, and probably can do more activity in the seller.
Because it seems to me we've got a president who's made a lot of money in real estate and a secretary of the treasurer who's made a lot of money as a hedge fund operator. And I'm wondering, if you are simultaneously working in that White House and at the Fed, whose interest do you think you're serving?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big issues, just on this specific point, is there's just an incentive structure where if he can return to his previous office, and that itself is kind of a function of the president's preference to bring him back. That kind of, if he wants to get his old job back, there would be an incentive to align with the president pretty strongly.
Okay, and how about if you fire the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, who's founded on a mission to fearlessly publish facts without regard to the influence those facts may have, and you replace that with someone who was storming the Capitol on January 6th. Do you think that helps BLS integrity and making sure that people can trust the data?
It does not help at all.
Dr. Holtz-Eakin, I want to thank you for your service at the CBO. All of us appreciate what the CBO has done. Would you agree that accurate and impartial budgetary analyses help us do our job better here in Congress?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that partisan attacks on the CBO help or hinder our ability to make for evidence-based policy making?
I think the good news is that for a long, long time, the CBO has ignored all partisan attacks on its work, and it does its work as well as it can.
Okay, so when Trump refers to the CBO as, quote, Democrat-controlled, and Speaker Johnson says that the CBO's estimates are always off, does that help or hurt the ability of the CBO to do its job?
It does neither. CBO does its job. People say things about it all the time, I assure you.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So when the CBO director just recently said that the Trump's tariffs have pushed inflation higher, do you think those comments were politically motivated, or he was just trying to express things to the best of his knowledge?
I think it's the latter. He's done the analysis.
And if you raise interest rates, does that cause tariffs to go down?
Sorry again, I missed.
If you raise interest rates, does that cause tariffs to go down?
No.
Because there was another CBO report that said that Trump's tariff and immigration policies are cooling the economy and contributing to inflation.
You can simultaneously have slower growth and higher inflation, and that's what they found.
Well, I would like us to be in a point where we don't have fiscal policy fighting with monetary policy. I would like us to be at a point where we don't have to worry about BLS data as presented by someone who stormed the Capitol. I would like us to be at a point where we are not saying that just because we don't like the data, we're going to chew people out. I would like us to be at a point where we're not saying let's lower interest rates to help out people who have not divested themselves of their assets before getting into public service. And I would like all those things to be nonpartisan someday. I yield back.